especially like to welcome Steve and Carol Lee, who are both here today. Clara, unfortunately, is not in good traveling health, so she isn't here, but she certainly is here in spirit. Today's speaker, he will get a formal introduction, but I'll say Dan is number 7 in the series. He's number 7 though, because I always sort of held him in reserve because he was right next to me, and I knew that if I couldn't think of anyone or to give the lecture and or that they were tied up, had some other commitment, that I could always depend on Dan. So I finally this year had to call him. He was a personal friend, has professional colleague at CC's for years, and I'm sure he is doing a great job. And Dr. Campbell will
thank you, Bob, for your welcome remarks. Unfortunately, this thing is not working. So I hope you can hear me in the back, and Dan will also speak forward. On behalf of the department, I also welcome the family and friends of Dr. C.C. Lee and our faculty and students who are here. So thank you very much for being here. I am very pleased to introduce the speaker for the 7th C.C. Lee Memorial Lecture, our own Dr. Daniel Wicks. Dan was a friend and colleague of C.C. Lee, so I feel it is very appropriate, like Bob mentions, that he is the speaker on this special occasion. Dan received his PhD degree in 1988 from UCLA in biomathematics. And then for a couple of years, he went to Columbia and did his postdoctoral fellowship with the famous Gerald Hart before joining us in 1990 as an assistant professor of human genetics. Fortunately, he is still with us. He rose in the ranks and became a full professor in 2002. Dan has contributed significantly to the field of human statistical genetics. He is nationally and internationally known in the development and application of statistical methods in gene mapping and also in genetic association studies to identify genes of diseases of public health importance. Dan has published around almost 130 peer-reviewed articles and also written several book chapters. In addition, Dan has written or helped develop writing several statistical packages which are being used by the scientific community. Dan has sent a number of graduate student and postdoctoral fellowship in human statistical genetics. In recognition of his outstanding contribution to human statistical genetics, he received the 2001 Mortimer Spiegelman Award in Health Statistics from the American Public Health Association. Dan is the program director of the International India-US Research Training Program in genetics and is co-leader of the annual Wellcome Trust Advanced course focused on human genome analysis. So I am very grateful that Dan accepted our invitation to present the 7th C.C. Lee Memorial Lecture. The title of his talk is Genetic Variants in Personalized Medicine. So without further ado, I introduce to you our own Dr. Daniel Wicks.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. So, it's truly a great honor to be here today to give the 7th Annual C.C. Lee Memorial Lecture. And I would like to thank Steve and Carol and the C.C. Lee family for their great generosity to the Graduate School of Public Health and to our department in creating and endowing the C.C. Lee Endowed Research Education Fund, a portion of which makes this lecture possible. So this is a photo of C.C. taken at his 90th birthday celebration. And as you can see, he's elegant, alert, sharp, and looks like he's about to say something humorous. I actually first met C.C. in 1986 when I was a mere graduate student at UCLA, when he was a visiting professor. And as soon as I heard about this course, you can tell how much of a pack rat I am. I signed up immediately. This was in the winter quarter of 1986. And the course was Human Population Genetics and Path Analysis, taught by C.C. Lee, University Professor of Biometry, Emeritus. Little did I know that 4 years later, in 1990, I would be joining C.C.'s department here at the University of Pittsburgh, where I was fortunate to interact with C.C. and get to know him better. In fact, I wrote 2 papers with him during month after I arrived, and the second published, as you can see, in the prestigious Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 1995, when C.C. was 83. We can all hope to be doing as well as he was doing at his age. During this time, I was traveling quite a bit, and every time I returned to Pittsburgh, C.C. would greet me warmly and kindly, eager to hear the latest news, as a father would a son. During the process of working with him on these papers, we were dealing with some complicated, multidimensional parameter constraints. And we're having some difficulty sorting this out. Not only myself, but Alan Young, who's a talented mathematician. And so, until one day when C.C. showed up in my office with this elegant, three-dimensional paper model of the parameter space that he had crafted out of paper. It was brilliant, it was beautiful, and I loved this model so much that I kept it on top of my computer monitor for many, many years. So, it illustrates C.C.'s ability to cut to the chase and figure out what's important, to see things in different ways. This is a great talent. In late 1995, the famous statistical geneticist Newton Morton came to visit, and C.C. invited many of us, several of us, to his house for a multi-course dinner in Newton's honor. C.C. even had the menu printed up in elegant gold lettering. I later found out that C.C. loved to cook, and so some of the dishes have actually been prepared by him. They were all very good. And although apparently for the sake of culinary harmony, Clara and C.C. used separate kitchens. I'm also told that Carol remembers that C.C. would on the weekends make Chinese dumplings, hundreds at a time, of 3 different types, making his own dough and filling. I was never fortunate. Well, maybe we had some during the meal. I wish I'd been able to sample them more. Now, during this meal, this photograph was taken. I love this photograph because the movement of C.C. Lee's hands reflects the passion for his argument. C.C. was a scholar and was definitely willing to argue in support of his well-thought-out ideas and positions. I also love this photograph because arguing with Newton Morton is not for the faint of heart. And here, Newton is quietly listening to C.C.'s argument. However, at this point in my career, I was relatively young, and I wasn't one to jump into the middle